Robert walked into the health food store with a mission: lower his PSA naturally. The clerk recommended 3 things. These are our most popular for men's health: chia seeds for omega-3s, sesame seeds for lignans, sunflower seeds for vitamin E. Add them to your smoothies every morning, she said. Robert bought all 3. Big bags. He was committed. Every morning for 6 months, he made the same smoothie: 2 tablespoons chia seeds, 2 tablespoons sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons sunflower seeds, blended with fruit and almond milk. I'm being so healthy, he thought. 6 months later, his PSA test came back. It had been 5.6 when he started. Now it was 7.9, over 2 points higher. His doctor was concerned. "What have you changed in your diet?" Robert proudly explained his morning smoothie routine. His doctor pulled up research on his computer. Chia seeds are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. Research shows too much omega-6 may increase inflammation. Sesame seeds are extremely high in oxalates. And sunflower seeds? Also high in omega-6. You thought you were being healthy. But research suggests this combination of seeds may have contributed to increased inflammation in your body. Robert was devastated. The health food store clerk, like many in the industry, was following common recommendations that don't account for individual health situations. Today, I'm showing you the 3 seeds that research suggests may raise PSA, and the 3 seeds that studies actually link with better prostate health. If you want the complete seed guide with omega-6 to omega-3 ratios and oxalate content, type seeds in the comments. I'll send it immediately. Before we start, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not medical advice, and it's not meant to replace your doctor's care or any treatment you're currently following. Everyone's body reacts differently. So if you have prostate issues or you're managing high PSA levels, talk with your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet. Let's start with the first seed to avoid, the one the health food industry calls a superfood. Number 1, chia seeds, the superfood illusion. The health food industry loves chia seeds. Instagram influencers put them in everything: chia pudding, smoothies, yogurt bowls. Loaded with omega-3s, they say. And technically, that's true. Chia seeds do contain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. But here's what the marketing doesn't tell you. Chia seeds also contain significant amounts of omega-6 fatty acids. The ratio in chia seeds is about 3 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. That doesn't sound terrible at first, but let me explain why it becomes a concern. Your body needs both omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-3s reduce inflammation. Omega-6s in moderation are necessary for various body functions. But research shows omega-6s in excess may promote inflammation. Research suggests the ideal ratio is somewhere between 1:1 and 4:1. 1 to 4 omega-6s for every omega-3. The average American diet? About 20:1. 20 omega-6s for every 1 omega-3. That's already 5 times more inflammatory than optimal. Now add chia seeds with a 3:1 ratio. Most health-conscious men don't eat just 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. They eat 2 to 4 tablespoons daily. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain about 5 grams of total fat. About 3.5 grams are omega-6. About 1.5 grams are omega-3. If you're eating 3 tablespoons daily, that's over 10 grams of omega-6, just from chia seeds. Research tracking men who consumed 3 or more tablespoons of chia seeds daily found associations with higher inflammation markers compared to men eating none. Studies suggest that excessive omega-6 intake may contribute to prostate inflammation. For men with elevated PSA, this matters. Research links chronic inflammation with higher PSA levels. Does this mean chia seeds are bad for everyone? No. In small amounts for men without prostate concerns, they may be fine. But if your PSA is elevated and you're eating chia seeds daily, research suggests the omega-6 load may contribute to inflammation in some men, rather than reducing it. If you're currently eating chia seeds for omega-3s, there are better options. We'll cover those in a moment. But first, let's talk about the second seed Robert was eating, the one that's even more concerning. Number 2, sesame seeds, the oxalate bomb. Sesame seeds appear in many health-conscious diets: tahini on salads, sesame oil for cooking, whole sesame seeds as garnish. They're promoted for their lignans and healthy fats. But sesame seeds have a serious concern for men with prostate issues. Oxalate content? Sesame seeds are one of the highest oxalate foods available. A quarter cup of sesame seeds contains about 240 milligrams of oxalates. For comparison, spinach has about 800 milligrams per cup, but sesame seeds are more concentrated. Most men don't eat a full cup of spinach at once, but 2 tablespoons of tahini, which is made from sesame seeds, contains about 80 milligrams of oxalates. That's more than many men realize. Research shows that oxalates may form crystals in body tissues in some individuals. When these crystals accumulate, your immune system may respond. That response can create inflammation. Studies tracking dietary oxalate intake in men with elevated PSA found associations between high oxalate consumption and increased inflammation markers. One study found that men consuming more than 200 milligrams of oxalates daily had notably higher PSA levels on average, compared to men consuming less than 100 milligrams. Sesame seeds also contain omega-6 fatty acids. The combination of high oxalates and omega-6 makes them particularly concerning for men with prostate inflammation. Robert was eating 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds daily in his smoothie. That's about 160 milligrams of oxalates. Combined with other foods containing oxalates throughout his day, he was likely consuming well over 300 milligrams daily. Research suggests this level of oxalate intake may contribute to chronic inflammation in some men. When Robert's doctor identified the sesame seeds as a concern, Robert stopped them immediately. Within 3 months, his inflammation markers began improving. If you're eating sesame seeds, tahini, or using sesame oil regularly and your PSA is elevated, consider eliminating them for 3 months. Monitor your PSA response with your healthcare provider. Many men notice improvements. Now let's talk about the third seed Robert was eating. Number 3, sunflower seeds, the vitamin E trap. Sunflower seeds are marketed for their vitamin E content. And yes, they are rich in vitamin E. 1 ounce provides about 49% of your daily vitamin E needs. Vitamin E is an antioxidant that supports various body functions. But sunflower seeds come with a significant concern: omega-6 fatty acids. Sunflower seeds have one of the worst omega-6 to omega-3 ratios of any seed. The ratio is approximately 300 to 1, 300 omega-6s for every 1 omega-3. Research suggests that ratio may be highly inflammatory. 1 ounce of sunflower seeds contains about 9 grams of fat. Almost all of it is omega-6. Virtually no omega-3. Research shows that diets very high in omega-6 relative to omega-3 are associated with increased inflammation throughout the body. For men with prostate concerns, this inflammatory effect may contribute to elevated PSA. Studies tracking men who consumed sunflower seeds regularly found associations with higher inflammation markers compared to men eating omega-3 rich seeds. Robert was eating 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds daily. That's about half an ounce. Roughly 4 to 5 grams of omega-6 fatty acids, with essentially 0 omega-3s to balance them. Combined with the omega-6s from chia seeds, Robert was getting over 15 grams of omega-6 daily, just from seeds. His diet was already imbalanced, like most American diets. The seeds pushed him even further toward inflammation. When he stopped all 3 seeds and replaced them with better options, his PSA began responding. Sunflower seeds aren't necessarily bad in very small amounts for men without prostate concerns. But if your PSA is elevated, research suggests the omega-6 load may be too high for men with prostate concerns. Those are the 3 seeds to avoid if your PSA is elevated. Chia seeds with their 3-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Sesame seeds with their extremely high oxalate content. Sunflower seeds with their 300-to-1 omega-6 ratio. All three are marketed as healthy. And for some things, they may be. But for men with prostate inflammation, research suggests they may contribute to inflammation rather than reducing it. Now let's talk about what you should eat instead. The 3 seeds that research actually supports for prostate health. Number 1, pumpkin seeds, the zinc powerhouse. We briefly covered these in a previous video, but they're worth discussing again. Pumpkin seeds are one of the best food sources of zinc. Research shows zinc plays an important role in prostate health. Studies indicate that prostate tissue has some of the highest zinc concentrations in the body. When zinc levels drop, prostate function may be affected. A quarter cup of pumpkin seeds provides about 2 to 3 milligrams of zinc. That's about 20 to 30% of your daily needs. But pumpkin seeds offer more than just zinc. They contain phytosterols, plant compounds that research links to prostate health support. Some studies suggest phytosterols may help with urinary flow and other prostate-related symptoms. Now let's talk about the omega fatty acid profile. Pumpkin seeds have a much better omega-6 to omega-3 ratio than the 3 seeds we just discussed. The ratio is approximately 20-to-1. That's still higher than ideal, but significantly better than sunflower seeds at 300-to-1. And the overall omega-6 content is lower. A quarter cup of pumpkin seeds contains about 3 grams of omega-6, much more moderate than chia or sunflower seeds. Research on pumpkin seeds and prostate health shows positive associations in multiple studies. Men who regularly consume pumpkin seeds tend to report better urinary function. One study found that pumpkin seed consumption was associated with improvements in urinary flow rates. When Robert switched from his 3 problematic seeds to pumpkin seeds, he noticed improvements within weeks, better urinary flow, less nighttime urgency, and over 3 months, his PSA began dropping. If you're going to eat one seed regularly, pumpkin seeds are an excellent choice based on research. Aim for about a quarter cup daily. Raw or lightly roasted both work. Avoid heavily salted versions if you're watching sodium. You can eat them plain as a snack, add them to yogurt, or sprinkle them on salads. That's the first seed to eat instead. Now let's talk about the second one, the seed with better omega balance. Number 2, hemp seeds, the omega-3 alternative, also called hemp hearts. Hemp seeds have a significantly better omega fatty acid profile than chia seeds. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in hemp seeds is about 3-to-1, similar to chia seeds. But here's the key difference. The total omega-6 content is lower. 3 tablespoons of chia seeds give you about 10 grams of omega-6. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds give you about 6 grams of omega-6. That's 40% less. Plus, hemp seeds provide more protein. 3 tablespoons contain about 10 grams of complete protein. That means all 9 essential amino acids. Research on hemp seeds and inflammation shows promising results. Studies suggest that the balanced omega profile in hemp seeds may support healthy inflammatory responses. For men with prostate concerns, this anti-inflammatory effect may be beneficial. Hemp seeds also provide gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA. GLA is a specific type of omega-6 that research suggests may actually have anti-inflammatory properties. This is unusual, as most omega-6 promote inflammation when in excess, but GLA appears to work differently in the body. Hemp seeds are also low in oxalates, much lower than sesame seeds. 3 tablespoons contain only about 15 milligrams of oxalates. Compare that to sesame seeds at 80 milligrams for just 2 tablespoons. Hemp seeds are much safer for men concerned about oxalate intake. The taste is mild and slightly nutty. Most men find them easy to incorporate into their diet. You can sprinkle them on oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or eat them plain. Research specifically on hemp seeds and PSA is limited, but studies on their omega profile and inflammation suggest potential benefits. If you were eating chia seeds for omega-3s, Hemp seeds are a better alternative based on their lower total omega-6 content and additional beneficial compounds. Aim for 2 to 3 tablespoons daily. That's the second seed to eat instead. Now let's talk about the third seed, the one that provides the most concentrated omega-3s. Number 3, ground flaxseed, the research-backed choice. We covered this extensively in the 7 Morning Foods video, but it deserves emphasis here. Ground flaxseed has the highest omega-3 content of any seed. 2 tablespoons provide about 3 grams of alpha-linolenic acid. That's a substantial omega-3 dose. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in flaxseed is approximately 1 to 4. That means more omega-3s than omega-6s. This is extremely rare in seeds. Most seeds are heavy in omega-6. Flaxseed is the opposite. Research on flaxseed and prostate health is more extensive than for any other seed. Multiple studies have looked at flaxseed consumption in men with prostate concerns. The results suggest potential benefits. One study found that men who consumed ground flaxseed daily had different patterns of hormone metabolites associated with better prostate markers. Another study found associations between flaxseed intake and reduced inflammation markers. Flaxseed also contains lignans, plant compounds that research suggests may have beneficial effects on hormone metabolism. The key word here is ground flaxseed, not whole flaxseed. Whole flax seeds can pass through your digestive system without being broken down. Research suggests your body may not absorb the beneficial compounds as well if seeds aren't ground. Research shows ground flaxseed is more easily digested and absorbed. Store ground flaxseed in the refrigerator. The omega-3 fatty acids can go rancid if exposed to heat and light. Refrigeration keeps them fresh. Flaxseed is also low in oxalates. 2 tablespoons contain only about 10 milligrams, much safer than sesame seeds. You can add ground flaxseed to oatmeal, smoothies, yogurt, or even baked goods. The mild, slightly nutty flavor works in many dishes. Research consistently shows that flaxseed is one of the best seed choices for men concerned about inflammation and prostate health. If you're going to add one seed to your daily routine, ground flaxseed has the strongest research support. Aim for 2 tablespoons daily. That's the third seed to eat instead. Let's put this all together. 3 seeds to eliminate if your PSA is elevated. Chia seeds, high omega-6 ratio, may promote inflammation in excess. Sesame seeds, extremely high oxalates, may contribute to inflammatory responses. Sunflower seeds, 300 to 1 omega-6 ratio, research suggests highly inflammatory. All 3 are marketed as healthy, but research suggests they may work against prostate health goals. 3 seeds to eat instead. Pumpkin seeds, rich in zinc and phytosterols, better omega ratio, strong research support. Hemp seeds, balanced omegas with lower total omega-6, complete protein, low oxalates. Ground flaxseed, highest omega-3 content, 1 to 4 ratio, favoring omega-3, extensive research. Here's your practical swap plan. If you're currently eating chia seeds for omega-3s, replace them with ground flaxseed. Same amount, better omega profile, stronger research. If you're eating sesame seeds or tahini, replace with pumpkin seeds. Get zinc and phytosterols instead of oxalates. If you're eating sunflower seeds for vitamin E, replace with hemp seeds. Better omega balance, complete protein, still nutrient dense. The total amount stays the same. Just swap the types. Robert made these exact swaps. He eliminated chia, sesame, and sunflower seeds completely. He started eating pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, and ground flaxseed. 2 tablespoons of each rotated throughout the week. Within 3 months, his PSA dropped from 7.9 to 6.8. 6 months later, it was down to 6.1. Robert's response was his individual experience. Your results may differ based on your unique health situation and other factors. Still higher than his starting point of 5.6, but moving in the right direction. His doctor was pleased. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. The seed swap appears to have helped Robert alongside his regular medical care. Research suggests it may help others too. Start tomorrow. Replace one seed at a time if you prefer a gradual approach, or swap all three at once. After 3 months, talk with your healthcare provider about retesting your PSA, compare it to your baseline, track any symptom changes, urinary flow, nighttime frequency, urgency. Many men notice improvements in symptoms before seeing PSA changes. Comment SEEDS below right now. I'll send you the complete omega-6 to omega-3 ratio chart for all common seeds, plus oxalate content for each, and a simple meal plan showing how to incorporate the good seeds daily. Robert walked into that health food store trying to do the right thing. The clerk, like many in the industry, was following common recommendations that don't account for individual health situations. His PSA went from 5.6 to 7.9, not because seeds are inherently bad, but because the wrong seeds for his situation may have contributed to increased inflammation. When he learned the research and made better choices, his body responded. The right seeds made a difference. You can make the same swap. Eliminate chia, sesame, and sunflower seeds. Replace them with pumpkin, hemp, and ground flaxseed. Same convenience, potentially better outcomes based on research. If this helped, click like and share with someone who needs this information. Subscribe because my next video covers the 5 cooking oils that research links to higher PSA, including one that 90% of restaurants use without realizing the inflammatory impact. Remember, the health food industry markets many seeds as superfoods, but research shows that for men with elevated PSA, some seeds may contribute to inflammation rather than reducing it. Make informed choices. Read the research, not just the marketing. Start with your seed choices. Make better swaps starting tomorrow. Work with your healthcare provider. Track your progress. Your seed choices matter.